Hi, welcome to RAMESHSOFT video tutorials. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss about constraints in practical approach. Now we'll see technically how we need to use these constraints. So already we know in the previous video we have discussed about what is a constraint and what are different types of constraints are there. So MySQL constraint is used to define some rules over the columns. Like I don't want to duplicate elements. Always the value should be what? Unique. And I don't want to include any null values. So compulsory I need to include what? Some value. So before inserting value, I want to check that value that we can check with what? Check constraints and etc. Now we can have two types of MySQL constraints are there. One we can specify at a column level, one we can specify at a table level. Okay, so at column level we can specify for one column or number of columns. Now what are different types of MySQL constraints are there? First one is not null, second one is primary key, third one is unique, fourth one is checker, fifth one is foreign key, sixth one is default. Yes, let's go with one by one practically so that we can get the more clarity. Now first we'll go with the not null constraint. So whenever we define our column as not null, then compulsory we need to specify value, that is this column cannot contain any null value. Okay, this not null constraint we can use it what? At create level whenever we are creating the table. Now see here, see the syntax of it. Creating the table with a not null constraint. Create table name with a column name, column type with what? Constraint. Here we can specify how many columns you want, those many columns. Okay, now let me implement in practical approach. Let me see one example so that we'll get the clarity. So my password is root. Now it is connected. Now one second. Yes, now see here. So let me create a table first. Create without constraints. Create table if not exist. I'm using with the command if not exist. What is my table name? RAMESHSOFT test. What are the column values? Here I'm specifying with ID of type int. Here I'm not specifying this one with any constraints. ID comma name varchar of 100. Now click on enter. Now see here, again no database is selected. Already we discussed before you are creating tables, in which database you want to create the table. How can I see all the databases? Show databases. Now which database you want among those? So you use, in order to use the database, use which database? Testing. Click on enter. Yes, whether database is selected or not. I am into which database? How can we select it? How can I see it? Select database. Yes, now see here. Yes or no? Yes, I am into which database? Testing database. Now, so let me create one table. Create a table if not exist. What is a table? RAMESHSOFT test. Click on enter. Now see here. Created or not? Yes. I want to see the structure of it. How can I describe RAMESHSOFT test? Click on enter. Now see here. ID with name. The table is created or not? Yes. Insert the values. Insert into table name RAMESHSOFT test. What are the values you want to insert? See here, I am inserting ID as 10, name as RAMESHSOFT. Insert into values and click on enter. Now see here, one row is inserted or not? Yes. Let me select all the data. How can I select star from, what is my table name? RAMESHSOFT test. Click on enter. Now 10 comma RAMESHSOFT I am seeing or not? Yes. Again try to insert one more record here. Click on enter. Now one more row is affected or not? Yes. Now let me select it. Now see here, 10 RAMESHSOFT. Let me insert again same value. Now one more record is inserted or not? Again select that values. Now select that values. Select star from RAMESHSOFT test. Yes. See here. Are you seeing here? Is this data is in accurate way? No. So here I am allowing duplicate values or not? So here also name is duplicate or not? Yes. I want to define some rules over these columns when we are defining the data. Yes, that is my column ID is there. Don't allow duplicate values. And my column name is there. Don't allow any duplicate names. Don't enter any default values. Compulsory it should take what? Values. Now see here, insert into, what is my table name? RAMESHSOFT test. Now here with this we can enter the values are optional or not? Yes. ID values 15. Now click on enter. Now see here. So am I entering any value for name? No. So what is the default value it will take? Default value is going to take. See here, if you want to see that, now see here. So here what is the default value it is taking? What is the default value it is taking? Null. Yes or no? No, I want to restrict. Compulsory you need to enter the value for it. Okay. So when you have such kind of requirements, then we can go for what? Constraints. So whenever we declare a column as a not null, so compulsory we need to give what? Value. Otherwise we'll get error. And whenever we declare a column as a unique, so compulsory we need to enter the values as a what? Unique. Means it won't allow any duplicate values. So whenever we declare a column as a primary key, it will take only unique values and even it won't take null value as well. Okay. Foreign key to create a link between two tables by specifying one common column in both tables. We can go for what? Foreign key. Check. So this check constraint controls the values in the associated column. So the check constraint determines whether the value is valid or not from a logical expression. Okay. Now default. So in MySQL data table, each column must contain a value. So while inserting data into a table, if no value is supplied to the column, then the column gets the value set as default. Now see here. Now let's go with the constraints. Now let me create one table. Let me create table if not exist. Not exist, I am giving table name as a Ramesh test. Now let me specify something ID of type int. With the constraint I am specifying not null. Means compulsory we need to specify the value. If we don't specify any values, we'll get error. Now so in a table, remember compulsory one column we need to define as a primary key. Compulsory. If you are trying to define two columns as primary key, we are going to get an error. Now ID not null, I am giving, let make ID as a primary key. Primary key, anything, no problem. Next name varchar of 100, and this one I am making it as a not null. Not null. Next I am writing course. Course I am writing like a unique. Course. You can specify caps or small, no problem. Varchar of semicolon. Now click on enter. Now table is created. Now I want to show the structure of table. Describe. What is my table name? Ramesh test. Table testing does not exist. RAMESH was on. Okay. Now click on enter. Now see here. So table is created or not? Yes. Now see here in that one column I am specifying as what? Primary key. One more I am specifying as a unique. Now see here. Let me insert the data. Now we'll see it. What exactly? Insert into. What is my table name? Ramesh test values. I'm inserting values in this way. What is that? First ID, comma, name, Ramesh, course. I'm specifying as a Selenium. Now click on enter. Now see here, query is affected. Yes. Now let me select the values. Let me see that from the database. Select star from table name. Click on enter. Now one record is inserted or not? Yes. This total we can say one record. Now let me insert one more values. Let me insert. Now let's try to insert. So here ID is what? In our table, primary key. So whenever we declare a column as a primary key, what is the rule? It won't allow any duplicates. So already 11 is there or not? Yes. Let me insert again one more time 11. See here. See here. What is that? Duplicate entry for what? Key. What is the key? Primary key. So already here 11 ID is there or not? Again when you are trying to insert 11, what happens? We are going to get what? Error. Let me insert. Let's make this 11 as a 12. Now see here. Click on enter. Now see here. Again the problem is coming. Duplicate key. Because course also we defined as a what? Course also we define as a what? Unique. That means duplicate values are not allowed. Yes. Then when we declare a column as a primary key, duplicates are not allowing. When we declare as a unique also, what? Duplicate keys are not allowing. Then what is the difference between primary key and unique key? Means primary key even won't allow what? Null as well. But unique allows what? Null. Let me demonstrate so that you people can understand. Just observe here. Insert into. Now let's make the change Java with Selenium. Now click on enter. Now see here. Yes, all are unique. Now select star from Ramesh test. Now getting or not? Yes. Now try to insert default. I mean, don't insert any values. Now see here what happens. Insert into where table. What is the table name? Ramesh test. Now I want to insert ID, comma, name. I don't want to insert any course. Values as something. Let me insert 11, comma. Here I am specifying Java. Now see here. When I try to submit here, what is that? First ID is what? Primary key. Again I am declaring with what? Duplicate. Already 11 is there. Again I am trying to insert 11. Again I am going to get what? Error. See here. Duplicate entry. Now let's make this one as like 13. Now see here. ID is unique or not? Yes. Primary key allows only unique values. Now click on enter. Now record is inserted or not? Yes. Good. Now let me select it. Select star from table name Ramesh test. Now click on enter. Yes. Value is added or not? Here see here. Course. Am I inserting any value for course? No. What is the value it is taking? Null value. Null value. Yes or no? Yes. Now see here, unique key, if you don't insert any value, it will take the default value as a null. Let's do it for a primary key. What happens? See here. Now see here. So here I am not inserting any, only I want to insert value for name. So database testing in technical in real time. Now see here. Here am I specifying any ID? No, IDs of type what? Primary key. See here what happens? Click on enter. Now see here, ID does not have a what? Default value. So compulsory we need to specify data for what? Value for what? Primary key. This is what exactly the difference between what? Primary key and not null. That is, for not null constraint, null is allowed and it won't allow any duplicate values. When it comes to primary key also won't allow any duplicates, and primary key also won't allow what? Null values. That is, it doesn't have any default value. So for primary key, compulsory we need to insert the values, otherwise we are going to get error. Okay, so if we want, you can declare more than one column as a not null or unique, but we can declare only one column as a primary key at table level. Okay, now see here. Now let me create one table. Create a table name as test1. Now in this table 1 I am specifying ID int. Here I am specifying the constraint as a what? Not null. Compulsory we need to give what? Value for it, comma name I am giving as of type what? Varchar of 100, and this is of type what? I want to declare this one as a unique. Next one I am declaring something, some codes, varchar of, here it is what I'm giving that, some specifying the type as a primary key. Now again I'm defining fee of int I'm specifying it as a, again I'm specifying it as a unique. Yes, you can define a column in a table can contain multiple unique columns. Okay, now see here, we are not going to get any problem. We can have multiple unique constraints at column level. Now see here. Now click on enter. Now see here. Okay, test alert table is there. 1 second. So create a table with a test1 table. Now see here. So don't include space. Remove the space. Now click on enter. See here. Here I am having unique constraints or not? More than one time. Yes. Click on enter. Click on enter. Yes. Query is select table is created. Describe. What is the table name? Ramesh. Sorry. The table name is test1 table. Click on enter. Yes. Now here I am having how many columns as unique? 2 columns. Let's try to create 2 columns as primary key. Now see here, what is the problem? I am going to get it. Primary key. Now click on enter. Now see what happens. Okay, let me, sorry, 1 second. Primary key. So at table level only one primary key is allowed. Let's change this name, test2. Now see here, immediately I'm going to get what? Error, because multiple primary keys are defined. So at a table level we can have only one primary key. Now if you want to define a group of columns as a primary key, it is allowed. Now see how it is possible. Create a table name as test Ramesh, and let me insert as, let me create ID int and name varchar of 100, comma I want to define those as a primary key. Now see here, primary key, what is that? ID comma name. Now see here, click on enter. Now see here, so only one primary key is allowed at column level, but if you want, we can define a primary key as the what? Combination of columns. It is allowed. Okay, now let's try to insert the value. See here, insert into, this primary key is applicable for both ID or column. Just see here, insert into, what is my table name? Test Ramesh values, inserting 9177791456, comma, what is the value I want to specify? Name as a RAMESHSOFT. Now click on enter. Out of range value for column ID int. Okay, so let's make it as a, was affected or not? Yes. Now see here, again try to insert RAMESHSOFT Hyderabad. Now see here, so here 456 already exists or not? Now let's click on it. What is telling? Query OK, one row is affected. It means primary key is when we are defining a column as a primary key as a group of columns. So here how many columns I am declaring as a primary key? 2, ID and name. See here already 456 exists. Am I getting any issues? No, because here I am declaring the columns. How many columns? ID and name. So it's going to check for what? Both combination. Now see here, let me do it one more time. Now see here, 456 RAMESHSOFT Hyderabad is there or not? Again, when I'm trying to insert both as duplicate. Now see here, duplicate entry. That is, it is checking not individual level. It is checking what? This group level. So we can define a group of columns as a primary key, and we can define only if you want to define a column as a primary key individual level. So when we are trying to define two columns as primary key separately, we are going to get what? Error. But if you want, we can define a primary key as a what? A group. That is, this example shows how to define the primary key as a group of columns. So this is what the important constraints in MySQL. Okay, and we have a not null constraint. So whenever we declare a column as a not null, so compulsory we need to specify value for that constraint. Just let me explain with one example so that we can understand. Now create table. I am giving table name as a database testing. Here I am writing ID int not null. So compulsory to give a space, otherwise we are going to get error. Name varchar 100. Now see here, now table is created. I want to see that structure of the table. Describe database testing. Yes. Now let me try to insert the values. Insert into, what is my table name? Database testing values. I'm inserting values as now 12 comma, what is that? Name. I'm entering RAMESHSOFT. Now click on enter. See here, row is affected or not? Yes. Let me select the data. Select star from table name, database testing. Now click on enter. Yes. So 12, one record is inserted or not? Yes. Record means a column. Now one row is nothing but a record. Now let me try to insert again with see here, ID is there with what? ID is there with what is the constraint? Not null. Yes or no? So ID is there with what? Not null constraint. Now see here. Now let me try to insert 12 again. See here. Am I going to get any issues? No issues, because I am specifying values or not? Yes, because Not null is not going to check whether that duplicate values or not. It won't check it. So compulsory we need to enter the value. Now let me insert. See here, don't insert the value for it. Insert into database base testing. Now see here. So ID is not null, right? Let me don't insert ID value. Values. Now here I am entering value as a Java with Selenium. Now click on enter. See here what happens. Here am I specifying any value for ID? No. But our ID constant is what? Not null. See here, click on enter. Now see here. Database testing. Oh, sorry. So here name is spelling mistake. Database testing. Now click on enter. What happened? Just observe here. Click on enter. See here. Field does not have what? Default value. Which field? ID. Basically ID we defined as a what? Not null. Not null means compulsory we should specify what? Value. It won't take any default value. This is the use of what? Not null. Okay, right? So not null constraint. Compulsory we need to specify what? Value. Otherwise we are going to get error. Primary key. Compulsory we need to specify the value. Even it won't allow what? Null value. And it won't allow you to define what? Duplicate elements. Unique. Value should be unique. That is, it won't allow duplicates, and null it will allow. Null it will allow. Check. A check constraint controls the values in the associated column. It is the check constraint determines whether the value is valid or not. And foreign key. If you want to create a links between the tables by specifying one column of both tables. So whenever you want to use foreign key, compulsory in two tables, one column should be common. Then only we can use foreign key. Okay, Andy. Yes. So this is what about the MySQL constraints that we are going to use frequently. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.